Welcome everybody, this is Ray of Rebel Ears, and today we are discussing why you should record everything while you're in the vocal booth. So you probably thinking to yourself, well Ray, why would I record every single thing that I do? Okay, good example. As soon as you go in the booth, of course as an artist, you want to have a practice run, right? Okay, let's say the practice run is something that you feel like, oh man, I wish I had that recorded, or you feel that might be a hit. The thing is, if you're not recording, then it's going to be lost forever. That's why I tell every engineer that I meet, or if they probably already know this from experience, anytime the artist is stepping in the vocal booth in front of the microphone, you never stop recording, no matter what. Even if the artist say, I'm not going to record this. The thing is, if you record it, and if the artist don't like it, there's always that option of deleting it. There's no option if you don't record it and the artist say, oh man, I wish you recorded that. Because there was times when I told the artist I wasn't going to record it, just so they could feel comfortable, because some artists are in a mindset of if they're recorded, then they have to be on the go, like everything has to be perfect. But when they're not pressured of recording, they feel more loose and free. Like, you'd be surprised, there's some artists who think that way. And it's a mindset. So just think of it that way, because like so many sessions I have with artists are just surprised on how quickly I work, just on the fact that I take pieces of like harmonies, ad-libs, and I just put it together. Because the quicker you realize that the little pieces you put together can make a masterpiece, more efficiently you'll work in a session. More artists will appreciate how you can turn like pieces into a whole spectrum. It takes time to learn these things. I learned from multiple engineers I worked with in the past, and even artists too, because like you just got to understand, soon as they walk in the vocal booth, you're on go. That's why, like I said, record. And even if, like I said, they're not comfortable, just tell them you're not going to record and still record, because you still have the option. They can't get mad at you if you record it and you tell them, like, as soon as they walk out the booth, just let them know, just letting you know, I recorded it. Do you want to listen to it? And 9 out of 10, they're going to be like, yeah, let me just hear how it sounds. You'll be surprised how many artists are going to be like, you know what, say that. I like that one. Or, man, I can't believe you recorded that. Because even the harmonies, like little things in that nature makes tracks, because they can go back to it like, okay, that it might be words like, you wanna ride with me, like things in that nature. You'd be surprised at how hits are made. It's the simple things that makes hits. People think it's so complicated. It depends on the session itself and who you working with. But the way that I work, I like to be comfortable with the artist I'm working with. But I want them to understand that as soon as they go in the vocal booth, even if it's something of them making jokes in the vocal booth, that could be for a skit. You never know. So just take it into consideration when you step in. I'm recording. So from everybody at Rebel Ears, I just want to say thank you and keep tuning in. So this segment deals with staying organized. So the reason why you want to stay organized, because it's an efficient way to work. Example, staying organized for a session. If you're an intern that I described in the first episode, you always want to make sure that you clean for the session, that you're, organized for the next artist coming in the session, because you don't want it to be messy. But the thing is, even as an intern, you got to think as an engineer. How are you going to stay organized? You keep your instruments, your drums, your vocals together. You keep your buses, or if you call them auxes, organized. You keep everything color coordinated. If you work in that kind of manner, you want to keep everything consistent. Even if you have to break it down when it comes to the drums, you might have it start with the 808, then the kick, then the snare, then the clap, then the hi-hat, or any order that you feel. That's one of my orders. I've seen like a lot of engineers do it that way because it's more convenience having the 808s and kicks together, just in case if you want the kick to thump as soon as the 808 comes in. It all depends on how you work. And even with the instruments, you might have guitar left, guitar right, and you already know with channel 1 and 2, channel 1 is left, channel 2 is right. And it's just easy when it's organized that way. You can pan it out instead of having like, okay, I have my drums, I got vocals, I got a guitar here, I got other instruments playing, and then I got guitar right. Because that's how you can get confused if you don't have everything balanced out. And then there was a good example. I had this female R&B singer, and she had 80 tracks, no lie. So it was multiple snares, hi-hats, it was multiple choruses, high pitch, low pitch. The verses had like a couple breaks in it, and then the instruments and drums, you know, it was a lot to take in. But I got it organized. I had everything lined up how I like it. I had all the tracks color coordinated, and my auxes were organized, and it just makes the session a whole lot more convenient, especially when you're thinking of in this way, that every time you open a session, it should be that way. And you could look at different interviews of engineers that's in the industry from, you know, look at some of interviews in Pasado's Place by Dave Pasado. He interviews like the top engineers in the industry, and a big thing for them is, you know, how to have an easier workflow is staying organized. Even though it's something simple, you'd be surprised how you can open up a session from an engineer who's starting out, don't really know how to keep the tracks in line, can be a big difference, especially if you're an assistant engineer, because being an assistant engineer is helping the mixing engineer to make sure it's efficient. They have their template set up the way they like it. If they have presets, you know their presets. So that's a way of staying organized, okay? So just think of it the next time you open up a session. So from everybody at Rebel Ears, I want to tell you thank you again, and tune in. Welcome everybody, this is Ray of Rebel Ears, and today we are discussing a story on why an iLok is important. So an iLok is, it looks just like a flash drive. It's basically used for holding plug-in license, but it's also used for Pro Tools, to hold your Pro Tools license. Because with Pro Tools, it's a DAW that without an iLok, with the license on it, you cannot open Pro Tools. You cannot. If you have a cracked version, which I do not recommend because it can put viruses on your Mac, even though it's hard to do, even on PC, because like when you get a cracked version of something, you know it's not the full program. So like I said, I do not recommend it. But yeah, you should get an iLok, have Pro Tools on it. And the reason why an iLok is important, because I remember this one session that Steve Habicki, my mentor, wanted me to come through because he wanted to show me some of his methods and tricks to help me to become a better engineer. And it was a John Legend track, and it was Love Me Now, I believe. Yeah, it was that. And it was I think it was the remix. I forgot. It was a while ago, but it was around the time when Black Beatles came out and Ray Shrimmer was was dominating the mannequin challenge. And it was when Nicki Minaj came out with Black Barbies. Now, Mike Will made it around the time when I was with Steve, called him up because he needed to change the song arrangement for the one with Nicki Minaj. And around that time, I brought my MacBook, my Mac laptop. I had my Magic Mouse, I had my charger, I had my backpack, I had everything I needed just to make sure I was ready. And the only thing I forgot was my iLok. So I had everything I needed, I could not open Pro Tools to open up the session that Steve needed me to work on. So that's just a quick story on why you want to bring your iLok with you if you have Pro Tools. Because if I would have had my iLok with me, I would have had a credit from John Legend. But, you know, you live, you learn. And I don't really see it as a regret. I see it as a learning point, because the thing is, that's a story that I can hold to me. It would have been cool to have that credit, but the thing is, you know, I work with Steve so long, so I got credits and I'm blessed with every single one. But it's just a story to let you know that, you know, be prepared for anything. And make sure before you leave the house, you have a checklist of everything you need. Okay, well, that was it. So from everybody at Rebel Ears, I want to say thank you and keep tuning in.